let's say, Lobachevsky, who took and cancelled one of Euclid's axioms. He created a new geometry. That is, seemingly obvious things, parallel lines intersect. Lobachevsky comes and says parallel lines intersect. It's unknown where, but they intersect. Everything changes immediately. And so, how can such fundamental moral foundations of universal human thought? It stems from the belief that only goodness exists. This is inherently embedded in such a human. To the structure of human consciousness, let's say. Only good. Why? Because of doing so, a person acknowledges the coincidence of the fact of their existence with the fact of their experience of that existence. Naturally, he is grateful for existing. He sets aside the fact that he will die, that he did not exist before, that he is like a light dash between two such black infinities. When he puts everything aside, he talks about the here and now. I am living, I feel this existence around me and of which I am a part. It is certainly wonderful that I live and feel it, and because to witness is wonderful. And this existence, which is one with my experience of it, I experience it, and the existence I experience is the same as what I experience. My feeling, my thought, and what I perceive are united. If it is wonderful that I exist, then it is also wonderful that this existence, of which I am a part, coincides with I am. This is understandable. Another matter is that there is a certain mystery which, on the one hand, catches the eye. And it's somewhat strange to me why not everyone sees or perceives this. What the witnessing speaks of the absoluta non-identity, of the witness to what he witnesses. Because things that belong to the same order, existence, well, let's say, stones among stones, they do not witness each other. They cannot respond to each other. Because they are one and the same. That's all there is. It cannot know itself by itself. It is always in insensitivity. It is always in senselessness. And therefore, if there exists the fact I, a fly, as Hippolyte in Dostoevsky says, even the very smallest fly participates in this course of life. That is, he is a fly. So if he knows that he is a fly, if he perceives himself as a fly, that is, I am with my fate, then he is already a point of non-coincidence with anything. And once he is a point of non-coincidence with anything, then the ethical fate of this point inside the witness, which testifies because it does not yet coincide. And what it testifies, they have different ethical destinies. That is, he can no longer say that the celebration of my being is a celebration, a positive existence, part of which this being is. Because being is not a part of existence. These are completely different things. Now, if speaking seriously, I would like to perform a Lobachevsky operation over generally accepted foundations. Human thought. It says, human thought, that everything is good. Where there is good, it is simultaneously thought. Where there is thought, idea, consciousness, thinking, being, and thinking, and being. It's two sides of one cup. There's also a third word, good. Now we are transitioning. We have kind of agreed that if there is thought, it is not being, meaning thinking and being are opposites. Consciousness and being are not identical. And it is precisely in this non-identity that the secret of consciousness exists. The secret of consciousness is that consciousness does not coincide with anything. but it's an amalgam, a black amalgam of grain. But let's take a step further. And being is not goodness. And in general reality is not good. Then what is it? The direct opposite, evil. Why? Because we are making a simple, yet seemingly parallel line. We say that they intersect. No, there is pure evil, absolutely pure evil. Then we must say what evil is if we have excluded the idea of good. Because when people say everything is good, they do not explain that evil is a lack of good, right? Or a kind of technical reminder that everything is good. That is, evil is sent to us so that we prick ourselves, squeal, and remember that we can eat ice cream. As if reminding ourselves of the good. But if we changed everything, if we said that everything is evil, then what is evil? If there is no good. And evil is the absence of good. But what is good? It is precisely what is absent. This is precisely that very absence, which is embedded in the fact of consciousness. Because if being exists, the only way, well, being exists, which means, as Animal says, the only way to describe consciousness is that it is not there. That is, it is non-being, which nevertheless is actualized. This is the challenge to Parmenides. This is the negation of Parmenides. Being exists, but non-being also exists. But non-being exists not in the form of being, but in the form of consciousness. That is, in the form of witnessing, which is, so to speak, a halt. Light, the light that spreads, stops, and is reflected. So then this non-being is a sign. A sign here. A thrown sign of what does not exist. Because consciousness does not exist on its own. It is not. It is not independent of anything. It is not self-sufficient. It exists only in opposition. It exists only as a contrast. Because being exists, it is somehow laid by someone. We are not yet saying by whom, but it is laid by someone. And consciousness, it acts only as an antiphon, as an antithesis. And therefore, well, for example, on the barn wall, a sunbeam is dancing. It's clear that the sunbeam is not self-sufficient. It can be directed away, it can be extinguished. That is, it's something ephemeral, but contrasting to the barn wall, that is, it is in opposition. So, consciousness is the antithesis of being, which is conditioned by the fact that it is an antithesis, meaning it exists. It manifests only in counterpoint, in contradiction. But part of it speaks of what is outside of this being, that is what is not. Thus consciousness is the manifestation of the absent. Consciousness is an indication of absence of something. The absence of something, the absence of which is evil. An absolute evil. Because this absence is presumed to be so beautiful, so precious, so overpowering in its sort of necessity, that it does not fit into the format of being. It simply cannot blend into this being. Being is like a purse, and this giant gold ingot simply does not fit in there. Therefore, this purse is empty. And the indication of the emptiness of this bag, that this bag is a disappointment. When you look at it, besides dust in the folds, there is nothing. This is evil. The indication of this evil, the emptiness of this bag, is consciousness. But consciousness is precisely bunny, sunny bunny, dancing from that very ingot of gold that didn't fit in there. It is an absent ingot of gold that cannot manifest, cannot go anywhere. It turns into this bunny, which shows that this existence, there is a lie. That is, there is is actually a wasteful there is. This is not a real there is. It's not a statement. It's just like Pinocchio's painted door, which was drawn on this very on the canvas, and he broke through it with his nose. So it's all drawn. There is something genuine whose authenticity is linked to its absence. This authenticity can only be expressed through absence. But this absence as grace, as a gift, is depicted in the fact of opposing lies. Consciousness as a ray of absence, which is fundamental, all-encompassing evil. Yes, it opposes the lie, which is second-order evil. Being is second-order evil. It is derived from first-order evil. There is being. Being exists instead of what should have been. But it is not there. No, because it is too beautiful to exist. Instead, there is being, which pretends to be beautiful. But in reality, it is a surrogate for what is absent. And here is the revealer. Consciousness, which is the bridge between two kinds of evil, the absolute absence of genuine, where authenticity and absence coincide. And secondary, that is being, which is evil, because it falsely presents itself as divine, but it is actually a substitute. It exists because the other does not. The bright red falcon has flown away, and instead a vile toad sits there instead of Puss the falcon, right? This toad says, I am your intended. And the falcon, in the dashing tilted hat, is somewhere there, carried by the wind across some fields. There. And this being is the toad instead of the falcon. And consciousness is precisely this bridge between this evil and that evil. But consciousness, which exposes the lower evil, the evil of being as a substitute for the genuine, acting as an exposer, it serves as a testament and a promise, a certain encounter with that authenticity, the absence of which can finally transform into that gold, yes, which did not fit into this bag. That is, consciousness is, and some kind of anchor, some kind of message, some kind of covenant. Here, it simply states that evil is original, and it is a challenge to understand the nature of an alternative to itself. But this alternative will not be good and not a benefit. Good and benefit are false notions connected with accepting existence as genuine. They are inevitable and inherently linked to self-deception regarding existence, with the idea of equating existence and consciousness. Therefore, when we move away from the acknowledgement of evil towards an alternative, we do not arrive at good, but we come to overcoming evil, to transcendence for evil, which does not give us good, which gives us a completely different void. It is outside a polar opposition of these theses and antitheses. It is an exit from the dichotomy. This dichotomy, we dissolve good as a lie, and evil is talented. Therefore, we have a completely different ethic. That's the ethic of duty, the ethic of will, which is the ethic of faith. Our ethic of faith, this is a fervent humanism, as a result of which all, so to speak, are beheaded, all are thrown to the dogs.